Hello, I'm Samantha Béart. I play Karlach in Baldur's Gate 3.
Hi, Dave Jones. I play Halsin, Baldur's Gate 3. I'm Andrew Wincott. I play Raphael and Harland.
And I'm Emma Gregory, and I play Minthara in Baldur's Gate 3.
How are you finding Comic-Con? I mean, the game's blown up to such a ridiculous... I think it's got more people playing it now than when it launched, which is incredible for a game.
That's been appled out, so yeah.
Yeah. So, how's your experience been this weekend since you've been here all week?
You took the...
No, that's fair. It's still just a whirlwind. Even after all this last 12 months, it still doesn't feel particularly real. It's in a really nice way. It's a fantastic fandom, and everybody's just super lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought over time the enthusiasm might wane slightly. But yeah, no, it's got a little more intense over time. But everyone has such a completely different experience playing this game, and has to remember that. And the other stat from that tweet was it 52,000 years people have played this game collectively. So I think it's just, we're just very lucky. And also being British as well, these opportunities don't come along very often. And, the game's been elevated to, once in a generation status, and feeling very lucky to be part of it. And like you said, it still feels very unreal. I feel very fortunate to be in this position.
And it's a game that resonates with so many people on so many different levels. I think and there's so much to do, and it takes so long to play, that there's so much to discover, that we're constantly meeting people who have played it 3 or 4 times already, and they're still discovering things. The opportunity it gives you to explore who you want to be, what you want to be. And we meet a lot of people where it's given them a lot of confidence to be bolder out in the real world, actually, through what they enjoy discovering in the characters they play. So that's good.
It's true. There's a real almost redemptive quality to the game.
Yeah.
People talk about how it's helped them. It's brought them through difficult times in their life, and you can sense the emotion when they meet you, how much it means to them. And I think it's the same for us too, because we didn't even really know each other during the 4 or 5 years of recording. And to get to know each other, to get to know the community is extraordinary. And I'm constantly amazed at how creative the community is, how they respond, in their art or their writing. And I'm beginning to have conversations with them about how long this game is going to stay where it is at this level. Somebody's got to come along and beat it, because it's set the bar so high.
Yes, it has.
And there's a real sense of that. People are playing the game for thousands of hours now.
Yeah.
I say, how many hours of playthrough? How many playthroughs? It's not just hundreds now, it's thousands.
To the point where people get quite confessional. I've only played 40 hours of this game. Do you?
I'm not talking to you. You've got people saying, I've done 1,000 hours in it, but over several playthroughs. People doing 300 or 400 hours just in one playthrough, but just exploring as much as they can, just in one particular story with one character. And there are probably still areas of the game they'll never discover.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. The game has been written in such a way that there are thousands of elements that will be played by 0.01% of the players. It's the level of writing is just outstanding. I don't think it will be matched. I don't think it will be beaten ever. No, I really don't. I think it actually has set the bar that high.
Speaking of this, Fanny's creativity, there's a lot of people here this weekend cosplaying as your characters and us characters from the game. What was it like the first time one of these fans came up to you in your character's cosplay? How did that feel?
A shock and awe in my case, because Carlos, You're bright red. You've probably got handprints all over the walls. First thing we learned was you probably want to wear gloves to cosplay Carlo. Then you've got to work out if you're going to do body paint or a real glow heart for the heart. And then you've got half a horn and a horn. So you got maybe the neck's going to take it, and then what are you going to wear? And and of course, if you do the sort of classic Carla, you have a costume made of rings and belts. So hats off to them. I occasionally get asked if I'm going to cosplay as well. Absolutely not. Doing Shadowheart maybe. Just get a ponytail wig and laughing.
My character's the same, because my character, I think, had a special colour created especially for the Minthara character. It was a type of grey purple. And you see people turning up with that all over them and in a full suit of armour, which is an extraordinary. In the London MCM Comic-Con, somebody came with actual proper armour and chainmail that they sort of created. It's extraordinary. It's very humbling, actually. Yeah. And an enormous compliment. And they get to have somebody sort of stand there and literally shaking because they're meeting the voice of, the character that they love so dearly is really humbling and really, really, really moving when people explain how much it's meant to them in their lives and how it's helped them through so many, problems or things that are going on in their lives. And it's wonderful. And the creativity, as you say, is extraordinary. And we're also finding that with the fan art that we have on social media is extraordinary.
Yeah, thankfully, I just get shown the very safer work.
Steve Brown is very respectful. Yeah. Looking at you respectfully.
That's it, yeah. But yeah, the people who cosplay as Halcyon, they're just, my God, they're astounding, absolutely incredible. But yeah, there's no way I'd cosplay as him. Yeah, my gun show is nowhere near, to be aired. So yeah, the first time I saw a Raphael cosplay was in MCM London back in May, and it was so impressive. I had to say, we've got to get her out of the queue. I've got to see her, talk to her about this. It was absolutely stunning. And the wings, I think the wings are a problem for Raphael cosplays. They have to get them on higher, or they're just. And there was one in October in London who couldn't really move because of the wings. So it gave her this amazingly sort of stately quality. And then there are some twins who might be here today who came as Harlem, and they came up to Glasgow as well. They're incredible. Double trouble. I'm just trying to think of where you would hire wings. Yeah,
they make them there. They do extraordinary things. They must have whole sort of science labs at home where they create hard enamel or plastic or whatever it is. These extraordinary gloves and fingers and, like we say, armor. And it's
someone had a chainmail shoulder yesterday, and it just I'd just be constantly just playing with it. It was more like a fidget toy than a costume. It was incredible. Yeah, it felt amazing. Someone told me yesterday they knew someone who was diabetic, but who still wanted to come in cosplay, but had to be so prepared. So had the shots in a sort of leather pouch or something, or even the armored and specially prepared. So there was a section cut out so if they needed to get in there fast. Absolutely extraordinary. Wow, and still determined to do it.
Yeah.
But ultra preparation, yeah.
That's dedication to the art.
Yeah.
Busy, is it? Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
So when you were first doing the script for your characters, how did you go about finding the voice that you thought would fit them? How did you find their voice?
Well, to a certain extent, in my case, I'd already figured out, because we'd all done auditions, and they were video auditions as well. I can remember recording mine on the iPad in the bathroom, because it's so difficult to get far enough away that they can see all or enough of you. But you were already given some kind of interpretation, vocally and physically. And then, it's just an instinctive thing. that gets tweaked when you arrive. But most of the time, it was incredibly. The direction was just nudging here and there. They were very free and allowed us, I think, to be so creative and to trust ourselves. They trusted us, so we could trust them, and it was just an incredibly positive, collaborative experience.
But it's also testimony to how brilliant our directors were at Pit Stop, because, they were phenomenal, because when we all started this, we weren't allowed to know what it was. So we were literally, in a sense, acting in the dark. We were given enough information about our characters. It was right, isn't it? Not for me. I have a different... Well, you have a different...
Well, yeah.
By the time you came on, yeah, Carla. But when I started this way back when, we weren't allowed to know it was NDAs, etc., etc. And then we were told sort of much later into the thing. But it's testimony to how well they guided us and knew exactly what they were after, given the brief they were given by Larry and what Larry wanted. And so yeah, they were extraordinary. But yes, we did auditions, video auditions, and I suppose because of where our pitches were in our voice, we were given the roles, told specifically what they wanted.
And the writing was so good too, wasn't it? That the lines they wrote for you just were so rich and incredible. And then the writers started to write for us the way we were interpreting the role. So it was very much a sort of this free and collaborative process. But fabulous writing.
Yeah.
Fabulous. And that the writing of it informed how I was going to approach the voice as well. Because the brief for the whole thing was, or Golfin as it was in the audition, it was he was supposed to be a rugby playing Oxbridge scholar. Just for the voice note, yeah. And it was one should cherish nature's bounty, but goblin guts far down the list. So yeah, that really, it was kind of pretty much already there, the writing and the description. So yeah, it's fun. But yeah, you had a completely different way on it.
Yeah, so I came in off when Twitter used to work, and this foul cesspit. Came 2.5 years ago, I think. I did another game. Someone from Larian just kept banging on about how good the performances were in this game, and I slid into his DMs and went, "Yes, go then." On a significantly large role, because careful what you wish for. You know, there's a lot of characters in Baldur's Gate. You might be going in as a merchant, and then you're done. I didn't realize they were still casting for a lead character, and that's what happened. But in terms of like voice, I'd say that is a result of all the other work that I did. So the textual analysis and the character did change as it went along. She was a bit more. I guess like the others, a bit. How do you describe Vistarian and Shadowheart, and just they're a bit serious business and a bit grimdark and that, and they changed so much to give her a little more of a sense of humour. So the voice becomes a little more elastic with that, so she can go up and down with that. But physicality, I think for me was the way in, because she's so tall and broad and athletic and. I don't know, you're filming some of me, but, if you're listening at home, maybe you can see I'm not quite the same dimensions as Karlak. So that's really where the effort went in. And I knew she had to be, the accent had to be from the south of England, and she's definitely going to be working class. So that really narrowed that down. And then I'm going, okay, like, so she sounds like this, right? She sounds like a goblin at the end of the day. So couldn't go full Cockney because she's going to sound like... So I just started having all these restrictions on it, which was great, because then I sort of created... Karlak has her own accent, which is very broad and very southern on the vowels, but also very tight on the consonants, mainly because I knew people maybe playing it English as a second language or a third language, they could have to really understand what she is saying. So there was that, and then you sort of forget about it. But for me, it's a physicality and the truth of the text is what is going into it. Oh, hello. Hello.
I'm really sorry I'm late. My thing says 11:30. Look.
Someone stitched you.
If I then move it the other way, it says 11 to 11:30. I only saw the 11:30 bit.
Right, it's it. Tell us about Voice of the Dark Edge. We're talking about voices for our characters. Oh yeah. Might put you on the spot.
And sit back I've got my eggs royale at the back of my throat still.
Okay.
Where Emma's looking at me. I'm far away. I want to let my know because I don't know what you got to say. Right, the voice. Better introduce yourself. I'm Neil Roberts. I'm Tab 5 and also voice the Dark Urge. And there's a monologue at the start of every origin character. And so when they were creating the Dark Urge, which is later while we're recording, so I was recording from Summit 2019 to something like May 2023, would it be? That'd be. And so in the last sort of year, they came out with this idea of the Dark Urge element of it. And the writer of it, Baudelaire Welsh, they asked me to do this monologue. And most of the time, the tabs just have the odd line here and there. So they're the player characters, so as you're playing, we are their thoughts. And all of a sudden, there's this huge monologue. So I was saying, well, is each line sort of separate? And they said, well, you can do it like that. But they'd be going to use it as the whole speech. And as a tab, you didn't really have that previously, just a few lines at a time. So all of a sudden, I found my sort of pretentious acting skills. Yes, I'm going to make the most of this. And got a bit rumbly and tumbly, as Pooh would say. You're not a lot more earnest about this, is it? Yes, so really, the Dark Urge is based on Winnie the Pooh. I know it's
That's the quote. That's what you start the head there. That's really lose this. What?
It was just lovely being able to actually have a sort of run at something. I'd do it several times, and they had two different speeches. One was much longer, and then I think they used a slightly shorter one. And it was just so delightful getting involved into this head of this character. And the character is really confused. And lots of people, I think, when you think the Dark Urge or anything that's really evil, you just play that evilness, that rumbliness. But actually, what I adored was because the Dark Urge has amnesia, has this urge to kill this twitching knife hand is one of the lines. But actually, they are really confused by this. They don't know where it's come from. And I was thinking of a little child, in fact, of having all of those emotions when you're a child whizzing around and not quite understanding them or how to deal with them. And so my approach probably is more like Christopher Robin, maybe not Winnie the Pooh, but like a child who is sort of distressed by this. And I found it fascinating. And you sort of give what you can and you hope it works ultimately. And when the game came out, I was directed by Pit Stop Productions where we made it. I was doing a Warhammer there. And I turned up and they were saying, oh, the Dark Urge, that monologue's taken over the internet. And I all thought they were winding me up. Someone else would come out of the studio and they say, Neil, have you seen? I thought, no, you've set this up before I arrived. I had no idea. And they were talking about over 2 million views and comments of that particular monologue on one YouTube channel. And they were all talking, in fact, about the vulnerability and how powerful that was. And so I was really chuffed because you make these decisions in the studio. You're not quite sure if it'll work, as I say. So to do something and actually the audience and the fans enjoying it and also understanding maybe what you were trying to put across, I found very, very special. So my eggs royale has managed to stay. And I shut up now. Thank you.
So Larry just sort of said that they've released their final update, which is, I think, the third time they've released it.
And I get upset when everyone goes, I thought you said there's a final. And they go, we never said that. Never said that at all. Talking about.
But a lot of the times when they've released updates, they've tweaked little bits of the story and that sort of thing. Karlak in particular had a nice little change because I think people were kind of upset with how Karlak's story kind of ended. And I mean, last time I played through, I was like, yes, we're going to hell, but, I'm sticking with it. And So how's that been for you? Did you know what the sort of ending was going to be, and did you know that they were going to make a little sort of tweak to that to maybe add a little bit more hope into that ending?
Yeah, so I knew her arc.
Yeah.
I knew the secret she was hiding. She's going to die at any point. So she's putting a little happy face on because otherwise it's dead weight, right? And she was like how she is after the Gortash stuff all the time. No one would want her in the party. And that was the little secret I carried. I remember doing a death scene, assuming everyone got one. Everyone was sat in the booth, but really sad. And I said, oh, great, I nailed it. So what's everyone else's like then? And they went, oh, fine, sure. And I accept that, you play a character in a soap opera or film, you accept that. I have no problem, that's the story they wanted to tell. What I do want to address is the fact that I was back in the studio doing the Avernus ending long before anyone had noticed. So there was a whole, oh yes, we made them, change it. No, you didn't. That's something that was going to happen. Remember, it was brought out a month early than planned because Starfield was coming out. So I assume that's what it was. Maybe there wasn't the anticipation that people would get through it so quickly in such big numbers. I assume that's what it is. We've also got the evil endings, which you'd only get for Karlach if you play as Origin. So just watch it on YouTube. Someone would have straight up there as soon as it was uploaded and that. Yeah,
Interesting. That is fascinating, actually, because you say, well, these new endings or this and that.
A lot. We've got the Outlaws one 6 months later.
Is everyone aware of exactly what there are so many multiple ways of playing that I wouldn't know half the time. Yeah, what is available and what's done what. As your own characters, do you know exactly what happens or what the choices are? Do you remember them?
I know that I've recorded stuff that will not be released.
Hot content, house it. That's what that is.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, and that's all I can say.
Well, I've done a similar kind of thing because I think there was talk at one of the years of doing it of possibly Minthara being pregnant. And then that didn't happen.
Before the line's going, how does that work? And I recorded lines. And I remember, I think it was Josh Reed or Beth Park and I kind of looking at each other going, I've just said a pregnant line. When does that happen? And he was like, is it the Dark Urge and Minthara or something? Yeah, I don't know. So I think they were just experimenting. Yeah.
But they did. I mean, it's quite unusual, isn't it? From I haven't done that many games, but all the ones I've done, you are added on as a voice at the end. It's all finished, and you do a bit at the end to be part of something that's then created, where they try and they play and they go, well, actually, no, we're going to do it like this instead, and then you go in. I think that's astonishing. I don't know. Have you done lots of games like that? Is this quite?
No, this. So you can remember this. Something from tabletop Dungeons and Dragons, where you could say anything.
Yes.
But if you do something stupid, will be stupid consequences. And I feel they really took that spirit into the game. I remember meeting if Dark Urge gives into it quite easily, they turn into a Slayer. So it's a picture of a Slayer. That's what it is, and that's your partner. Go and no, you can't. It's so disappointed. It's like, for God's sake, I said something.
I didn't understand this when I started playing, so I'm streaming that, and so I make certain choices, and I meet Karlach, want them to join my party, and they wouldn't join it because I killed everyone in the Emerald Grove. And
Killed the tieflings in the Emerald Grove.
but that's a bit rough. And I asked chat, well, at some point, will they join my party? And I heard about 2 lines of Sam and just thought, wow, absolutely nailed this character. And they wouldn't join me, so I killed you. But it's really, really weird. And in fact, Halcyon buggered off, Will buggered off, all because of some, it's like real life, this butterfly effect, that you make some little choice. And 30 years later, you find all your friends that disappear. I don't think that's with Andrew Wincott.
That's isn't it? Like, I think typically in video games, you can pull the wool over your companion's eyes, but in D&D, word gets around. There's a gazette. We get Reddit. We know what you're up to.
Yeah.
If you choose to sleep with the Emperor, it's one of my favourites. Like, everyone just goes, oh, God's sake. For the rest of the game.
Yeah.
My mind goes back to the BAFTA masterclass we did in June, where Crystal
Did you learn that from it, Larian?
well, I'm just about to say, Crystal came in. We were giving it. We were one of we were listening. It was one of 3-hour sessions. In the first session, it was Sven Adam, one of the writers who wrote a lot for Raphael, and Minthara, and Crystal. And Crystal was in charge of the overall narrative arc. And she said that she was her brief was to resolve all the narrative threads in this game. And I just think, wait a minute, this is like a Dickens novel.
Yeah.
How do you do that? And I just trusted to. I mean, she made a little light of it, but I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
You have to have an algorithmic brain or something to do that.
Did you should see their offices. They've probably got some walls. Imagine the wall strand. This guy.
Oh, you can Dinosaurus chest cheeses, actually. That's how I see it.
Yeah, or it's a maze, where we follow this line through. And the maze is getting bigger and bigger all the time.
It is every time I sort of play another thing. There's some characters telling me some huge story that I wasn't aware of from the other 100 hours I've been playing it. Just it's constant. You see my 100 hours, this bitterness in my voice. And the
Standing now, isn't it? It's normal.
a TikTok film, you can whiz forward to your scenes. You only have, well, it's... The only way of appreciating this game is by playing the damn thing. And it is beautiful. I'm staggered by it. But it feels so alien. It's really weird. Hundreds of hours as an actor who's been in it just to experience it and actually even remember what I was saying and stuff. And the beauty of it, it's phenomenal.
Awesome. And that's what we have time for. Maybe let's squeeze one very quick one in, but
Can we do a quick fire round, can we?
So I know that some of you have done sort of D&D live as a result of the marketing for this. Has being part of this project inspired any of you guys to start your own home games with Dungeons and Dragons, or what kind of characters do you play at?
You know about me. So I think you should talk about the fact you've been playing for ages. I haven't been playing for it. I don't know where this story is. I once said that I played Call of Cthulhu, and which I loved, which is a great game.
Yeah.
A lot. I'm not played for a long time, but it did take over it did take over my life. Where you just lose whole weekends, where you go, oh my god, I've got to get ready for work tomorrow. This Sunday night. So I loved Call of Cthulhu, and I would like to get back into D&D again, definitely. And it's amazing to see so many people like Neil, people streaming the game. Tracy did it for a bit as well, I think, and Dev's obviously doing it. Neil is brilliant to watch. Sometimes I kind of check out what they're doing, seeing how it's going. But I don't think I'd have the time actually to start, to be honest with you. But I like watching everyone else.
My kids, while I was recording, I got two children, are quite a bit, they're not teenagers, they're older, and I told them, even though I broke the NDA, I told them what I was doing, and they're 10 to 1. And they bought me a couple of years ago for Christmas, they bought me a D&D box here, an initial starting set, so we played it, and because none of us are dungeon masters, so none of us knew what to do. So we were reading these rules, and this is a story, and you meet these people. And of course, that's not how it works. Everything is sort of generated by your own imagination, which we didn't understand. It was almost like playing Monopoly. We just presumed there was rules. And we died at some point. So we thought, well, let's start again. We died at that point again. A few months later, we got it out again. We died at that point again. At which point, we gave up. We hated it. But now I understand it.
Yeah.
But I think you need, and from my understanding, you can never have played it, but if you have a dungeon master,
Exactly.
it's experience, knows what they're doing, everyone then can join in. So that was our issue.
I think that's why I got into Cthulhu so much, because I'd never played live game before. And my friend Mark was a brilliant, brilliant dungeon master. So he said, you're going to really love this. And I did. I loved it because as an actor, it totally appealed to my imagination. You could do anything you wanted to do, go anywhere you wanted to go. So it created this incredible character, and that shock when Mark said, I'm afraid you've just blown up. You're dead. I started crying because I was so heartbroken. So I loved my character so much. No. Just roll the dice back or whatever you do. No, I can't. That's the game. That's what happened. You went in there and then a bomb exploded. But if you'd made this decision, that would have happened. It was very interesting. But it really appeals to actors' imaginations.
So they did a bullseye on you. This is what you could have won.
This is yes, because he tried to explain it to me because I was so upset. But it was brilliant. I love it. I think role playing is absolutely fabulous. So, in fact, you've inspired me to find some time to get back into it.
We could do it online and find someone who knows what they're doing.
Follow D&D MS. Yeah. Ironically, I had to give up my friend's game of D&D because I was doing a video game called Baldur's Gate. I didn't have time to do it. And I was like, I can't tell you why, but it's kind of related. Bye. Wish I played a regretful tiefling warlock.
You did not? Is that true?
Yeah. I played for a while for COVID.
Then you did stop because
At the time, I had full-time job to do 10 evenings. And I'm going, really sorry, babe. You said it what a year. You gotta say what. It's not personal. I know it sounds weird. Yeah.